these texts, of all the time of the year, to get what many people refer to as Mark's mini apocalypse, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, the Sunday before so many of us will gather together, hopefully with friends and family, and take a moment and be thankful. And then next Sunday, we get hit with Christ the King Sunday, also known as the Reign of Christ Sunday, also referred to as Doomsday Sunday, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, the Sunday leading into December, the Sunday before, for many of us, myself especially, that's the Sunday I start to get really fired up about Christmas. These 2 Sundays, we see the church declaring faithful witness to the end. To the end when the reign of God will come. And it's not pleasant. It's not fun. It's not uplifting. At least not when you first read it. These are the thoughts that were coming through my head before I started listening to the podcasts and reading the commentaries and praying to prepare for the sermon. One of the podcasts focused in on this part of Mark where they start talking about the stones on top of one another. Now we think in our modern society about somewhat large stones, but I don't think we really understand how big these stones are that Jesus is talking about. The measurements for the base stones of the temple would have been 25 feet by 50 feet. There are stories from the ancient world that when these stones were moved and had to be moved into place, it would take 1,000 oxen to move them. So we're not talking poquito stones. We're talking stones. I was going to measure out this morning to see how big a 25 by 50 foot stone would be, but I'm willing to bet where we're sitting right now would be pretty much full by one stone. This is the stones Jesus is talking about being upended, toppled over, crushed. What does that mean for us? Those are big things. What does it mean for us? There are many people that will look at this scripture and see and point to the events happening throughout the country. The fires in California, the violence in the streets, the mass shootings, and point to those and say, it's coming. The end is coming. Jesus is just right around the corner. He's coming. But I think they missed the point. Because they also reference Revelation, the book of Revelation. And again, they look and say, you see, it's coming. There's famines. There's war. There's all these things. But they miss a point. They miss how Jesus follows up his warning. He provides hope. Do not lose heart. Do not lose hope. Do not get caught up in battles and rumors of battles. Don't get caught up in the 24-hour news cycle. Don't get caught up in the... Well, I don't have to list off all the examples. You guys can fill that blank in. We have people, I don't care what size of politics you fall on, that point to certain things that are going on saying the world is coming to an end. America's going to fall. It's all going to be bad. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, or don't vote at all. That's a message that we hear on loop, on repeat, each and every day. It's a message that we so easily can get caught up in. I find myself very often going, can it just end? Can we just be done? God, if you're going to come, just come so we can stop the suffering. Because I get anxiety, I get depressed, sometimes I get angry. And I wonder why? Why? Now, I obviously have never given birth. I've been in the room. I've had a leg on my shoulder. I've been right there. And I know it's not a pleasant situation. Regardless of medicated or not, it's hard. And I think, I might be wrong, but I think there's a point where probably really the realization of how hard it's going to be and how painful it's going to be and how long it might take occurs. A little light bulb moment. I say that based on some of my own personal experiences of painful processes. That relatively early on in the event, I go, oh, this is not going to be fun. This is going to hurt. I don't want to do it. I want to avoid it. Give me the drugs. Let me stop. Whatever. Like, that's real life. And that's the metaphor Jesus uses and says, this is the beginning of the birth pains. This is the beginning pains that we feel when we start a process that we know is going to be hard. And that's where we're living right now? Why? I don't want to live there. But if we just look a step further, if we just pause for a minute and try, as painfully as it may be, to step away from what we are feeling at the moment and recognize that we're going somewhere. That the end results will be worth it. Again, having not experienced it, when you give birth, you have a baby. If you know someone that's given birth, there's a baby. And I have met very few people that say it wasn't worth the pain. I saw on Naomi's face, like the pain, the discomfort just was wiped away when she was given the baby for the first time. Not comparing the two, but having not had that experience, I can only somewhat liken it to here's giving that process, here's what I'm going to try to compare it to. So not at all on scale. But when I cross a finish line of a race, 13.1 miles, 26.2 miles, y'all have been through some pain. I've had tears. I've cussed God. I've screamed. I have said, why on earth am I doing this to myself? I should just take off the shoes and just be done with it. And at the end of every race, I always tell my wife, I'm done running. I'm not going to put shoes on again. I'm done. I ain't doing it. And then something magical happens. They put the medal on my neck. I don't know what it is about that moment. All the miles I have run to train, all the tears I have felt, all the pain that I have dealt with are washed away. It's a stinking piece of plastic or metal or glass that's probably $5 a piece. It's nothing fancy. But that moment washes it all away, and it makes it worth it. And I wear those medals for at least a day afterwards. I've tried extending that, but I've been told not to. Dad, you need to put them up. It's okay. We know you ran that race. That's what we have to do when we encounter tough things. Is think about the end. Think about where we're going. Think about where we're being led to. Why am I stressing that part of this today? You guys are in a tough situation. A couple weeks ago, we had a conversation on Reformation Sunday about where St. Matthias Lutheran Church is going. What it's going to need to do. And I'm going to say it broke my heart when I saw tears. Because I know this is a special place for all of us. And it's hard to be where we are. And the path is going to be hard. Regardless of what ministry you really actively engage in, there's going to be pain. There's going to have to be putting aside your own wants, needs, opinions to get where it's going. There might even be some anger. There might be some gnashing of teeth. There's probably going to be more tears as things change, as the birthing process of something new is occurring. But if you have hope that is a gift from the Spirit, you're going to get there. I have complete faith in that. And I thank God that our hope is not dependent on us. Because I've lost hope many a times. But somehow, some way, I get it right back from the Spirit. In those tough times, in those hard times, in those painful moments, hope is there because Jesus is there. Jesus is there through these processes, through these painful moments, through these conversations, through the upending of reality, through changes that make us uncomfortable, through engaging in things that we may not like or we may not fully understand. Jesus is there saying, it's okay. Don't lose hope. I am with you. I will always be with you. I will never abandon you, even when you feel like your world is crumbling all around. Even when you're in pain that cannot be described. Even when you're feeling sorrow that goes beyond anything that you have ever experienced before. I am with you. I am here and I will always be here. That's what apocalyptic literature and writings are about. They're not about the end of the world. They're not about a blueprint of how this earth is going to come to an end. They're about providing hope and reassurance that God is active in the process. No matter how bad things get, God is there. Jesus is there, walking side by side, in front of, behind, over, and below. Jesus is there. So let us not lose hope in those times where we think the end is coming. Let us rest in the assurance that Jesus is with us and always will be. Amen.